Hey everybody, Miranda here. So we're going to continue on with our study that we've been talking about in all the previous videos. We have discussed heavily the foundational aspects of the serpent seed from the beginning of time. So we've gone through Genesis, we discussed the serpent seed and how Satan and the fallen angels sought to disrupt the genetic pool, the DNA of the human race, to prevent the coming Messiah coming. And the point of that was so the Messiah, Jesus Christ, wouldn't be a full-blood human to redeem mankind. Satan could, essentially go to God and say, I got you. He has hybrid blood. He wasn't a full human. And so it was a constant chess match between God and Satan of keeping a people pure and a bloodline pure for the coming Messiah so that he could redeem all of mankind and get his family back that was stolen in the garden when man and woman gave up their authority to Satan, and he illegally took control of the earth. So that's what we discussed so far. So we discussed pre-flood and the sin, the things that the mixing of animals, human DNA, all of the genetic tampering that was going on, plus the teachings of the fallen angels to mankind. We looked at the book of Enoch and what that said, the book of Yasher, what that said, divination, sorcery, all of these, different things that are so prevalent today is actually fallen angel doctrine, doctrines of demons. And we discussed how all of that provoked the Lord, and that was the reason for the flood. And then last time we talked about Nimrod. We talked about post-flood and how all of this came up again, and how the Bible tells us that Nimrod began to be something other than human. He began to be a mighty one on the earth, implying when you do the word studies that he became a hybrid. The serpent's seed got into him, and he was from Cush, who was from the lineage of Ham, the cursed side of Ham, one of Noah's sons. So we see the serpent seed kick up again. And in this video, I just want to focus on really honing in on what the Bible has to say about these giants post-flood. It's not just Genesis 6 where the Nephilim is mentioned. There's actually several tribes of giants, all kinds of mentions of giants all throughout the Old Testament. And one of the pressing questions among atheists and Gnostics, believers and unbelievers alike, is if God is so loving, if he's this wonderful, loving God, why does he destroy entire civilizations, including women and children? Has anybody heard that before? I know I have, from believers and unbelievers. Well, I'm going to tell you why today. When you look at what was happening with the serpent seed, you'll see what God was trying to do. So I'm going to be reading some excerpts from Dr. Dennis G. Lindsay's book titled Giants, Fallen Angels, and the Return of the Nephilim. So there's different names of different giants all throughout the Bible. And excuse me, I'm not a Hebrew scholar, so I don't know how to say some of these names. So bear with me. So the Nephilim can also be called the Raphaim or Rapha, singular, found in 1 Chronicles 20, 4, 6, and 8, or Rapha, which is singular, found in 2 Samuel 21, 16, 18, 20, and 22. I'm going to be giving a lot of scripture verses, so you can write these down and go study and see it for yourself. Again, in Genesis 14:5, we read about a race of giants called the Raphaim. The word Rapha is used 25 times in the Old Testament, and in each place it is used to reference giants. Deuteronomy 3:11, Genesis 14:5, and Genesis 15:20. They are also mentioned in other passages, Joshua 15:8, 18:16, 2 Samuel 5:18, 23 and 13, 1 Chronicles 11, 15 and 14:9, and Isaiah 17:5. You can rewind this and go back if you need to write them down again. Then you have a giant race called the giants, the EMIM. They're a warrior tribe of giants that were defeated They lived at the right time of Abraham. They're mentioned in Deuteronomy 2, 10, and 11. Then you have the Zuzaim tribe of giants, which are Lot's descendants destroyed east of the Jordan River, Deuteronomy 2, 19 through 21. Then you have the Anakim giants in the book of Numbers. They're introduced. Let's see where they mentioned the Numbers 13:33. So when Israel entered into the promised land, God told Joshua to wipe out everyone from 4 tribes. One of the tribes was the Anakim, who lived south of Israel near Hebron, and they were defeated by the Israelites under Joshua. And then that is Joshua 11:21. So again, it said that God gets angry and commits these random acts of genocide that we read in Deuteronomy and all throughout the Old Testament. And this has shocked people, believers and unbelievers alike. And so if you go through these different scriptures, it's actually all the people that God told his people to take out weren't entirely human. So when we say, were several civilizations destroyed? Why did he bring the flood? It was all taking care of the serpent's seed, this hybrid genetic experiment that was going on throughout the Old Testament. So God was doing something. It was very strategic. He wasn't just this angry, mad God sitting up in heaven, striking down people that he was angry with because of sin. Of course, he hates sin and he was getting rid of it, but there was a much bigger thing, if you really study the scriptures, that he was dealing with. And the reason why some of the laws and some of the things that he gave his own people to do seemed so strict was because he was protecting them, keeping them pure for this purpose of bringing out the Messiah. So to be clear, all of the tribes, all of the people that God instructed his people to take care of, to take out, to wipe out, yes, women and children, because they weren't human. Satan, the small g god of this world, was distorting women, children, and men through the serpent's seed. They're people that would desert God and follow him. And so these people were wiped out. But again, emphasized, they weren't actually full human being people. And it was this hybrid seed that was going on. And so I want to sensitize you to that. Numbers 14:18 through 19 says that the Lord is slow to anger, abounding in love and forgiving sin and rebellion, yet he does not leave the guilty unpunished. He punishes the children for the sins of the fathers to the 3rd and 4th generation. In accordance with your great love, forgive the sin of these people, just as you pardoned them from the time they left Egypt unto now. That's Numbers 14:18 through 19. So God gave several laws to the Israelites, to his people. You'll see that God had to specify that Israelites weren't to drink blood because life is in the blood, and the blood was tampered with animals and humans alike all throughout the earth. You'll read that God actually had to tell the Israelites not to follow these false gods, these doctrines of demons that were being worshipped by the hybrids and by people who chose to follow the doctrines of demons in the hybrid race. And at several times throughout the Bible, he had to tell them to not sacrifice their children to the god Molech or Moloch, who is the god of child sacrifice and who still is the the god of child sacrifice. So there was a lot of evil, distorted, perverted things going on that God was trying to protect people from. And so again, if you really study the scriptures, this is what God was dealing with. And from here, I want to go on, and in the next video, because the Bible talks about in the Old Testament and the New Testament that the giants will return, the Nephilim will return. So I want to go into what that looks like and what that exactly means. We'll see some of the names of different gods and things in the Old Testament and how they show up again in the New Testament, and what to expect going from there. We're going to talk about transhumanism, the common alien deception, And all of this is important groundwork to lay to make sense of these other things that we'll talk about.